a shot here in Vegas, and I got hired as a sales executive. And it's like the top number one top 40 station here, heritage station here in Las Vegas. It's a great station, 98.5 KLUC. And I had a blast. It was so much fun. And it was cool for me because I came from the other side of the desk. So I was able to actually negotiate a lot with buyers because I knew what they were looking for and I knew what they had to do to get their job done. So I made it more efficient for them and I was able to have more fun. So I worked there for a couple of years and then I got recruited from another radio group here in town, iHeartRadio. So I ended
Nice.
up
There you
working
go.
over there and the ladies that ran the office, the general manager, these were people that I had been friends with for 15 years since I had lived in Vegas. And so they knew me on a personal level, as well as professional. So it was an easy transition for me to work for them. And it was just an incredible experience to work for two women who I respected and I've always had so much respect for in the industry. And these women, they were white. And you know what? They took me under their wing and they trained me. And to this day, I can call them for anything. And I appreciate that. And I'm so grateful that I had that opportunity because they said, oh, come work for iHeartRadio. This is a better radio station. So it was pretty cool to work there. And as I established there, then I got sought out by the NBC station and the CW station here in Las Vegas. So I say that to say your reputation will always precede you. And no matter what, you should always stay true to who you are and always be who you are. Now, did I go in and whitewash or was I, oh, yes, this is me? No, I'm always me. I always stay true to me. And I think other cultures, they respect that because not only do I stay true to myself, I stay true to who they are and I respect their cultures as well. So it's a mutual respect. And that allowed me to be able to navigate through marketing for so long and be so successful with that.
That's awesome. And a lot of things people, from my experience, what people love is the fact that they can be authentic and be themselves. And while they are themselves, people respect that more because they can see like, oh, this person isn't playing, they're not
Playing a game.
Exactly. And then on top of that, you can sift through the people who are not okay with the way you act because of how you carry yourself. And you don't want to be working with those types of people anyway.
Right, exactly. So I'm always true to myself. Now, do I take the hood in the office? No.
Right.
But will I go there? Yes.
There's a
And
time
the,
and
the
place,
funny
right?
thing is that they know that. So if I have to go, they know they're like, oh no, you crossed the line with her. This is not, we have to fight for her. So they know.
And when it happens, it's warranted.
Right. So they're like, oh no, Lorri, she's the nicest person you ever want to meet. She's professional, above grade all the time. So if something ever would have transpired, they're like, oh no, she was not in the wrong. Far and few between, though. I didn't have a lot of those moments. I did have one when I worked at CBS Radio, though, when a salesperson actually took an order off the fax machine and tried to pass it off as his. Yeah.
Mm.
So that's not a good look for you, dude, to do that.
Yeah. So after you did iHeart, what other transitions did you go to? Because you've been a teacher.
And
5
years. Yep. So after I left iHeart, I actually was recruited by NBC and CW, the TV stations here in town, because they were actually my client when I worked at iHeartRadio, because TV stations buy radio space when it is called the sweeps period, when they're trying to get the highest rated for their Nielsen ratings that come out 4 times a year. So they would always do these huge campaigns to push and promote their shows. So I knew about that because I was familiar with that because I came from the ad agency side. So working with them for a couple of years, my client was like, hey, you know what? We need an account executive here at the TV station. You should check it out. So went in and interviewed, and it really was informal because pretty much all I had to, if I wanted the job, I had it. And so I said, you know what? Challenge myself, Because if you don't challenge yourself, you don't change. And so
Right.
for me, that is something that is in me. So I say, you know what, I'm going to go for it. So I went and worked at the TV station. And it was a bittersweet situation because the management there, which was also female, she wasn't really a girl's girl and she wasn't a player. And so it to me, I'm such a transparent person. So to work for someone who, Monday they speak, Tuesday they don't, or, different attitude, I just don't gel well in those type of environments. So I kept my head down. I did my work. And one day I just came to work and I said, you know what? I don't want to work here anymore. so so I gave my notice, and obviously they were shocked because they're thinking, wow, you're doing such a great job and you're billing well. You're making really good money, but my heart wasn't there anymore. And I was like, no, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. So I actually quit with no job, single mom with 2 kids. And I decided, you know what, Lori, you need to work on you. So I joined a gym, I worked out. I ended up losing 50 pounds, and I just, pray. I'm a very spiritual person. So I prayed on it, and everybody's like, what are you doing? Where are you? Where are you going to work? I said, you know what? I just need time. I need to reset the button. And a lot of people need to do that in life. And a lot of people feel like, oh, I need to have X amount of money in the bank, or I need to do this, or I need to do that. Sometimes you just have to just go balls to the wall and you have to do it, because
100% agree. Yeah.
yeah, because stress will kill you. It will. So I took about 5 months off, and I prayed about it. And I said, what is it that I really want to do? Because I was approaching, I was 45 at the time. And I said, what is it that I really want to do? What was my childhood dream? Thought about it. Wanted to be a teacher. My best friend is a teacher. She's been teaching at LA Unified for almost 30 years. So I said, okay, that's what I'm going to do. And so I applied for the school district here multiple times. I never got any traction. And it was frustrating because I'm thinking, well, one, I was coming from a field where I had 30 years experience, where I didn't have to apply for a job. People
Yeah.
came to me. So it was weird for me to go out, one, to apply for a job, and then two, not to hear anything. I'm like, they're missing out. What do you mean you're not contacting me?
Talk about a transition,
So,
huh?
right. And so I went on a cruise and just took some time off. And I was talking to a girlfriend of mine. Her kids they attended this really great charter school here in town. And she said, Lori, why don't you apply there? And I was like, because we're programmed to think, okay, I'm going to go for the best of the best of the best. Okay. So I'm going for Clark County School District, which is the fifth largest school district here in the States, our school district here. And she was telling me to apply at this charter. And I'm like, I don't really know anything about this school. I don't know anything about it. So sure enough, I applied. I got hired in a week. And I've been there ever since.
Wow.
3 years into teaching, I was actually Teacher of the Year. I got nominated, which was amazing considering I didn't even have the experience. But
Right.
I excelled there, and I've done very well. It's a great place. I teach sixth grade. I've taught sixth grade for 5 years, and it's so rewarding and so fulfilling, even though I'm making 1/3 of the amount that I was making before teaching. Because let me tell you, teachers, we do a lot, and for the pay, it's terrible. And I think
Yeah.
COVID has lifted the veil on that, because not only with COVID now and teaching from home and online, a lot of students are suffering from that, which I agree. But I also think that parents, this is kind of a wake up call for them. You need to be involved with your kid. You have to, like, it's critical. And you shouldn't have your kid just sitting there at a computer all day and you don't even know what's going on. And so it's amazing to me, this transition. But yeah, I'm working 100 times harder with no increase in pay, no hazard pay. So
Are you going back into the actual school, or is it still online?
Well, our school is doing hybrid, so they're
Okay.
transitioning into that. So our school is a K through 12. So K through 3, they already started with the hybrid back in November. 4 through 6 is rolling out. It's going to start. And actually, that is a hard call for me to decide if I want to go back because I've been teaching from home since March 2020.
Just about
And
a
I have,
year.
yeah, and I have asthma. My daughter has asthma. So it's just, and I'm not really fully on board with the vaccine. So I have to make some decisions here really quick because it's going to be starting here real soon. So that's a whole nother
Yeah,
gamut.
that's a lot. But you know, it speaks volumes that you transition from these places to something completely different because of
Mm-hmm.
your joy of doing it.
Yep.
Um, there's one thing I've learned. I'm an aircraft mechanic,
Oh,
and
okay.
I was working on one of the I was working for a company that had a contract with the Navy, and we were working 12-hour shifts.
Oh, wow.
Paycheck was great.
Mm-hmm.
Life was miserable.
Yeah.
Then I swapped over making a lot less,
Mm-hmm.
but I have so much time on my hands. And that's when you realize like money isn't everything. It really isn't.
No, it's not. No, it's not. And I chased it for many years.
Yeah.
But as a single mom, I had to because I wanted a better life for my kids. And I'm very grateful. They were able to travel and participate in some of those shows and go to see, different artists that I probably would never be able to afford to take them. Like now, I can't afford to take them.
Right,
And
right,
it's
right.
funny because I still get phone calls from people from, marketing and advertising. Hey, Lorri, can I get tickets to, do you know anybody, a hookup for tickets for this concert? Sir, I don't work in that industry anymore.
Did
Like,
anybody
no.
you ever get the inkling to like, oh, I want to dip my toe back into that
Well, you know what? It's
arena?
different now. So my
Mm,
background, I am traditional media, TV, radio,
everything's changed, huh?
outdoor, and now everything's digital. So I do have a really good friend who, I knew through the industry, and she left as well, but she actually started her own digital media company. So I've done, side jobs for her here and there. And one time she wanted me to manage some Instagram. I can't even do my own personal. So I did
It's a
it for
lot of
like 30
work.
days.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot
I
of
was like,
work.
I said, you know what? I can't do this. So because you have to be on the phone 24/7, and that's just not the type of life I want to live.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I told her anything traditional, I'm there all day. But anything social media related, I can't, I'm barely use the phone. I'm barely on, I do Facebook because I'm in the age demo. And then at night I watch TikTok videos all night. So
Yeah, that's your extent of social media. That's cool.
yeah, it's more leisure and fun for me. If I have to
Right, right.
work it, no, I don't want to do that.
I hear you. So, what subject do you teach?
Actually, at our school, sixth grade is considered still elementary, even though in the world it is middle school. So actually, I teach all subjects:
Oh,
science,
wow.
math, grammar, history. So I teach everything. The math is the struggle. I'm on the struggle bus with the math.
I was never good at math.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, me either. But you know what? I love my students when because they basically teach that hour, that block. And I love when I do get it. I have a light bulb moment, and the kids go crazy. They're like, Miss Holloman, you got it, you got it.
That's awesome. That's great.
So yeah, but I'm transparent with them. I tell them, look,
That's
math
good.
is not my strong suite, so we're gonna figure it out together. That's what we
Yeah,
got to do.
absolutely. I wish my teachers were as transparent as that, because then you would know. But
Right.
so what is your actual favorite subject?
History. I
Ooh.
love history. It is so fun. When I was in school, I don't think I paid as much attention to it. One, because I was fortunate that my mom focused on Black history at home. So I knew it was slightly skewed from
Hmm.
an academic standpoint, which it still is today. So what I like about it now is that I can learn with the students about history, the history that is skewed, but I also interject Black history at every single lesson, at every single level. And I love giving them those nuggets of information, and they love it too. They're like, oh, and what I love about it is that they question, well, how come this isn't in the book? Well, let me just tell you just a little smidgen, because I love my job. I don't want to be fired. And I teach to a lot of kids that don't look like me. So it's really